next position in a series of grades we're handing out for the Patriots this season, and we are at the wide receiver position, Fitzy, which clearly starts with Stefan Diggs. So I will let you lead things off with Stefan Diggs' grade for the totality of his experience here in New England this year.
It's going to be a higher grade than I think any of us would have anticipated giving him 6 months ago when many in the region speculated as to whether or not he'd be able to get out onto the field. I'm going to give him an A-.
Woo!
I think, and Andy, a lot of it, we use the word totality. That's what drives the grade up. I mean, his performance on field, and yes, I do have to grade it based on knowing the man was coming back from an ACL that had been torn prior to kickoff, just slightly over 10 months prior when he was playing for the Houston Texans. On 85 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's a really good season. It was the first 1,000-yard season in over half a decade for the Patriots. That's great. Not since Julian Edelman. But all the extras, all the intangibles, all the coaching up people that we saw when we were down at training camp and we saw him working one-on-one with receivers. Hell, he was even trying to resuscitate the career of Jalen Polk for a while before even he realized alongside ownership and brass that was a lost cause. You know, the we all we need, ain't nobody like us, I like us, all the catchphrases, all the pregame speeches, the histrionics, the emotion, the mentorship. It's almost hard to put a price tag on it, and I think it would be difficult for anyone to give him anything less than a really good grade. So A- for me.
Ted
Johnson.
I got him for B+.
Okay.
The regular season was excellent. He's played 11 years. Statistically speaking, this was his 6th best season of those 11. So not even half as good as what he's done in the past. But new quarterback, and coming off of a knee, I give him some slack for that. But also, what didn't push him into an A is just. He was the 5th leading receiver in the playoffs for this team, the 5th, behind Kahan Booty, Matt Collins, Ramondre Stevens, and Hunter Henry. 14 catches for 110 yards and 1 touchdown. Look, I know the weather affected 2 of those games, but weather wasn't a factor in the other 2. And to have that little bit of production against a team, especially in the Super Bowl, that plays a lot of zone, is really disappointing. So if he would have gotten an A if he had a better showing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I might be easy A Andy here. I'm giving him an A because I think if you had told me he was going to be the best receiver on your offense, he was going to catch 1,000 yards, 80-plus balls, he was going to basically not be a problem off the field. I say basically because you do have this one allegation that is being litigated, but basically not a problem. He's going to be in the middle of every pregame hype thing. He's going to get along great with Drake. And the biggest argument against him is he faded in the Super Bowl. I think I'd have to go, yeah, that feels like an A season. I'll take that in the summer.
So you would bring him back for the money?
I don't think I would because I think it's the honeymoon period.
Oh, wow.
I think you got the best juice you can squeeze out of that orange, and it's about to go sour, and that may not be fair to him.
It's about to go super lemon.
Well,
yes.
Going into the 12th year, I mean, it's hard.
Does he still have more? But you say, Andy, like that juice is about to go sour. Like, does he have more juice? That before I judge or try to put money down and cast a judgment as to whether or not I think it's going to go sour or supernova, etc. Do you think there's enough juice left to squeeze in there?
I think he can play in the NFL. I don't think he can be a team's best receiver. And then the other question I have is, so we're talking about he loved being in the middle of the hype circle, right? He's getting everybody hyped up. He's Drake's guy. You said it fits. He's coming up with slogans and T-shirts and mantras. Well, what happens if they bring in a real number one receiver who steps in front of him and he's like, oh, I don't do that anymore? And people don't ask me about, I don't know if you can go from being the alpha to just a step back. Like that's, go from being the head coach to being the coordinator again in the same play. I know Vance Joseph actually did it in Denver before you text me, but I think it's really hard to do. If you're the number one and you're like at the center of it all, I don't think
he was the number 2 in Houston though.
I know.
And had good production there.
Oh yeah, no, this is more about the feel. Like I'm the number one, and then all of a sudden I'm not the number one. Oh, you brought in A.J. Brown, and everybody's
dude, you're going into your 12th year, bro, and you're getting paid a lot of money, and we're the only ones that ever wanted you. So it's kind of like you don't have a lot of options out there.
And that might be. And you compared him to Bregman earlier.
Yeah,
Bregman found options that were willing to pay. Is Diggs going to find options that are willing? So that may help you bring him back at whatever his situation.
he'll find some? Kansas City will pay him like $12 million for 1 year.
So that's a far cry from 20 that he's going to be
that's
owed.
a pay cut, and he'll find a job with some money, but I don't know that it'll be
the Patriots
good
go
money.
up to him in the offseason and say, "Hey, Steph, we literally love having you here, but we want to knock $8 million off your salary."
Players don't like that. I feel like, not that you would know from experience.
Would anybody?
No, I don't think anybody would. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's back. I'm starting to think he's not back. And that surprises me based on how well it works.
That's a big hole. That scares me.
Better have A.J. Brown lined up in the queue.
All right. Or you have another option. You have another guy that I believe Tom Curran says this guy's a really good 2 and maybe could be a 1 on some teams. Kahan Booty had 33 catches for 551 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had basically your highest yards per catch at 16.7 on the season. Ted, you go first. A grade for Kahan Booty, who you seem like you've soured on a little.
No, I like Kahan. I think he was definitely a solid B. I'd give him a B for his production this year. His second best year. He's only been in the league 3 years, but his second best year as far as production goes. But he was targeted considerably less. Last year he had a little bit more production in yards, but with a lot more targets. So he was more efficient this year than he's ever been, which I give him props for. I don't think he's. I think he's a solid 3. I don't think he's a 2 on a team. I think he's kind of one of those guys that you target him. How many targets did he get this year? Like 46 targets. I think that's kind of the range. You target him. You don't target him as much. You take shots with him when he gets man-on-man press coverage, like a lot of his big plays were against that. He's not a guy that's going to get off jams and get open in short to intermediate. So he's kind of a little bit of a one-trick pony. So that, to me, is more of a 3, if we're being honest. So, but definitely I would bring him back because I like his grit. I like his toughness. I like his attitude. But I think you put him with the 3 or the 4. I don't. He's a guy that does not going to get the lion's share of the targets.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Fitzy. I think he's a 3 or a 4. If you're a really good team, he's a 4. If you're a good team, he's your 3.
That's a better way to put it.
And he's never going to be the volume guy. You're never going to pencil him in for 6 catches, 96 yards every week. He's never going to be that. So I think he's nice in the role that he's in, kinda. So I'll give him a solid B, a B or a B minus. But if you're expecting him to be more than that, then I think you're going to be disappointed, Fitzy.
I is a B minus on this one, and I'll ask you. You say 6 for 96 on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday. His take a guess. Most catches in a game this season.
5.
Correct.
Yeah.
For 93 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Saints. Oh wow, okay. Give me one of those every 4 weeks and we'll be great. That was the highest. I mean, he had a couple 4-catch games, some 0 against the Falcons. I think that's because he didn't play. Yeah, he was not a volume monster by any stretch. So if you get 46 targets, 33 catches, like you mentioned, he's a one-trick pony, Ted. That one trick is pretty neat because he can catch really awesome long downfield touchdowns with one hand. But you need to be able to do it more. 33 catches is complementary player territory, Andy, not primary player.
Absolutely. And if you say a guy's biggest game is 5 for 93, well, that's not that impressive. Remember Chris Hogan in an AFC Championship game had 180 yards?
160, yeah. He beat the Steelers by himself.
So that's my point.
That is telling. Can you just give me one game where you just go off?
Right.
So I know you can do it.
Nope. What a great game that was.
You can't. So, all right. Mac Hollins is an interesting one. He had 46 catches, 550 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a couple injuries around the way, obviously brought a unique personality to the room and to the team. So, Fitzy, grade for Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins is going to get a B plus for me. And it's relative because, once again, it's expectations versus delivery. Second best statistical year. But, of course, we had a feeling he might have another good one because his best, 2022, was in Vegas when he played for Josh McDaniels. So he was in a system that he understands and plays well in. Look, whatever you want to give for, bumping it up a little bit because of the off-field fun stuff, the showing up shirtless with a tire iron and being entertaining, the no shoes, whatever. Massive addition to the community. His TikToks about changing tires, cleaning windshields, and aliens taking over Earth are infinitely entertaining. But he's also clutch. The passing offense wasn't as dynamic without him out there. He's tough. He's a big blocker. I think he sets a tone, and he adds to the culture. This is one of those tentpole culture guys. So he was better than I expected. I'll give him a B+.
I got him for a B+. He played 9 years. This is his second most productive season, yards. But last year, he had, I think for Buffalo, five or seven touchdowns. I can't remember. He only had 2. But they didn't use him in the red zone nearly as much as I thought they would. To me, he's a red zone threat. But the blocking he provides on the edge is by far the best blocker. I'm almost willing to give him an A-. I'm going to give him, A-, Matt Collins, because you blocked your ass off. What he brought off the field, and I just think he's a big catch radius. I think he's a guy that he catches the ball over in traffic, and he gets people fired up. You know, I like his physical nature. So to me, he has a bigger role in this offense going into his 10th year than he did this year. I hope that they let him have a bigger role.
So you said you were an adjunct professor and an easy grader?
I was.
Yeah, I think I would be too, because I'm giving him an A, and I'm basing it on my expectations. If you remember when they signed him, I wasn't really interested. I wasn't really excited. I thought he was like a 4th, 5th receiver, a special teamer, a jag kind of guy. And I think he had a big role with this team's success offensively. Like, I would have never thought he was going to catch 46 balls for this team. He did. I would have never thought that I'd see him, like, flexing like David Givens down the field after receptions. He brought something to this offense that was missing when he wasn't out there.
I like that. I like when receivers act like they're defensive backs. Yeah. They talk smack. They're aggressive. They're physical. Matt Collins is that guy.
Yes, and then you add in the blocking, and then you add in Fitzy, the off-field stuff.
The Warriors, come on.
I think he was the perfect fit for this team. Yeah. Now, you could argue if you could get all of that with more talent ahead of him on the depth chart, that'd be perfect, right? Like maybe we just said Booty might be a 4 if Matt Collins becomes – like if everybody could kind of bump down a role because you added the one big guy, I think we would like Matt Collins even more. All right, this one's going to be an interesting one. The rookie. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams' grade based on his, let me look down the stats, 10 catches, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns. So kind of an incomplete kind of season for a young receiver. But Fitzy, grade?
C-.
Oh.
I was expecting more. I'll be honest. I thought if I had to hear the phrase elite release package one more time during the pre-draft process and how Kyle Williams would be such a great fit for the Patriots. Dynamic downfield, deep threat, gives them the vertical threat Drake May needs for the big arm. He's going to stretch that offense out. I mean, if his role was to just run downfield and open things up underneath for your Mac Collinses and your Hunter Henrys and your Stefan Diggses, then maybe he did his job. Great. I love the touchdown. His first touchdown, I believe, against the Buccaneers. He obviously, in another one I can think against the Giants, looks great downfield, but 10 catches, I can't, like, it's just a little underwhelming. So there's something there, but I didn't see enough to give him anything more than just sort of like a low passing grade.
The best throw of the season was that pass from Drake May to Kyle Williams in the Tampa game, where he was getting hit on the right side, threw it to the right. As he's streaking, he's a right-handed guy. So for him to make that throw, I thought it was an amazing throw. But I give the same grade, C-. He was below average. I thought he would do more when I saw him in training camp. I saw a little something there that I thought was going to transition a little bit better than it did. It's a physical position for these guys. These wide receivers that come into the league, they don't realize how physical the game is because they're not used to getting press coverage in college. So a lot of them have a hard adjustment reacting to the physical nature of the game. I think he had issues with that, and just really could never even get on track. Never even had like a show-out game ever. So I'm giving him a C-.
Yeah, I'm going to balance out my grading. I'm going to give him a D. I was thoroughly unimpressed with him. He's fast. And when he gets in the open field, he's not going to get caught, I guess. Like, that would be my scouting report on him. I mean, he had 200 yards and 72 came on one touchdown. He just was kind of a non-factor. And I don't want to hold the history of receivers, young New England, against him, but he feels like he's going down that same road of not fulfilling his potential. So I'll give him a D. Another one that's interesting, Pop Douglas. Some of us have been wrong on him multiple years now. 31 catches, 447 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ted, why don't you kick us off here? Pop Douglas.
I give him a C+. Maybe that's a little low. I give him a B-. I'm trying to.
Is this what you really did when you were a professor? I
Actually-
feel bad. I got to give him an A
Actually,
minus.
No. I'm gonna. You know what? Golly, you look at. I'm gonna give him a B minus. He was much more productive last year. He had 621 yards last year to 447 yards this year. However, he was only targeted 46 times this year versus 87 last year, and his average per catch was almost 14 and a half yards.
Yep.
So that I really like. And that so it's funny, I just thought he would be more productive, a better slot receiver than he's been. Hell, he was a better deep threat. Really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was the guy that stretched the field.
Isn't he the vertical slot? Isn't that what they
vertical
sort of
slot?
called him?
Yeah, that's kind of what Tyreek Hill was. He's like a poor man's Tyreek Hill, kind of in a way. I don't know. Like the whole preseason, it was like the whole offense was going to be built around Demario Douglas, and that wasn't the case. B minus. I was expecting a little bit more, but I do like the average per catch 14 and a half.
If I were
C+.
going to C plus. Okay. If I were going to grade him on what I thought he was going to be, it'd be an F, because I thought he was going to be like a slot receiver, a volume pass catcher, and then he carved out a nice role for himself as a big play guy. Getting in spots. He was a guy that also drew a lot of praise from Vrabel for, Pop's not out there a lot, but you look, he's running guys off, or he's blocking downfield, or he's doing what we ask him to do in a role that might not be what he thought it was going to be. So I'll give him, I guess, a C for the role that he found for himself. The only question I have is, was he never suited to have that other role? Was he never suited to be like a centerpiece, Josh McDaniels, slot receiver, get open in a phone booth underneath?
I don't think he's as tough as, and no offense to Pop. I mean, that's a hard position to play. But you can't, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Troy Brown, those are tough SOBs. I mean, DeMario, you just tackle a shoelace and he'll go down. I mean, that's part of the problem. He gets tackled way too easy. Those guys are tough bastards. And if he had a little bit more grit and toughness, he could stand in there and take those hits. I don't think he can like those guys that used to play that position used to.
Yeah, he catches the first touchdown of the year, gets a point for that. Arguably catches the best throw from Drake all year. And it was that one that he dropped in between 5 Bengals defenders, which was truly an incredible throw, how he even got open for that. But also, guys, the 4th and 2 play against the Steelers, against the Steelers, you got to just get 2 yards.
Yeah. Yep.
2 yards. You got to know where you are. You got to get those 2 yards.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
He took 3 steps, and now it's four steps, bud. 4 steps.
Yeah, that
4
was...
steps. You got to go at least to the first down marker on 4th.
I forgot about that frickin' play.
He
He goes from
Raiders.
a C
That
to a
was the
D.
Steelers, yeah.
Yep, down a grade for that one. That was a big play, and it was a horrifically bad play. Now, I could go back up, because didn't he have that one touchdown that was taken away by that cheap-ass offensive pass interference call against Atlanta, maybe?
But then he also has the big touchdown to get things going against the Texans. So very up and down. I think the most pertinent grade, or at least info and perspective on the grading, was yours, Andy, in that, if I was grading him based on the expectation, it's an F, because I too thought he was going to explode this year. And then he doesn't, but carves out a neat role, like that vertical slot, like we were talking about, Ted. It was fine. C.
Yeah.